Hey, listener. Want to help us out? Leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or hit that like button on YouTube. Only takes a second on your end and really helps us out on ours. Otherwise, enjoy the show. You're listening to Cinematic Doctrine. Well, hey, if you press play, you're missing out on a Patreon exclusive chat. What? We have those still? Yeah, we do. It's outside of January hiatus time where we're recording. We're recording on February 5th, which means now the benefit of supporting on Patreon isn't just early episodes, but also discussions at the start of every episode, roughly every episode, where we talk about something that only the Patreon supporters heard. This time we decided to, Iron Lung and Markiplier, that's very internet, so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about an internet punching bag, which is Chris Pratt. I started with 3 prompts that I sent to Cheryl. I said, is Culture's honeymoon with him over? Obviously, yeah. But, does it matter that people don't like him if his movies make money? And then what do we think will happen next with Chris Pratt? Chris Pratt is currently kind of being talked about because he's in a movie called Mercy that is being torn apart. No one is being merciful to that film. I have not seen it. I'm not interested. It looked bad. So we spent some time chatting about that. It's about 20 minutes. If you support on Patreon for $3 a month, you get access to that discussion, and then just press play on this episode, and it's immediately what you're going to hear. There's other benefits to supporting on Patreon. You'll hear about those throughout this episode, but you didn't press play to hear me pitch you, advertising and stuff like that. You press play because you want to hear us talk about Iron Lung. We're going to do a movie discussion on the film Iron Lung. Movie discussions are 2 questions that are not spoilers, so we'll just be able to chat about what we thought about the film, what did it draw out in us, all without spoilers. Much easier to do than you think. And then the latter half of the episode is 2 prompts that are spoiler specific, so they're going to be prompts that help us talk about the specifics of the film, front and back, layers, themes, ending, all that jazz. And so it should be a really good time. I am joined by Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, how you doing?
Just hanging in there. It's a Thursday. I'm on my vacation.
Woohoo! Still? Weren't you on vacation last week too?
Was I? No, I think I was going to start that. I think I was going to start it, but then an employee of mine had a minor emergency, so I stepped in to take care of some stuff. So yeah, we're going to talk about Iron Lung. Let me just give some explanation on the film, a little background before we get into what did we think. Iron Lung is based on a game by David Zemanski. This is a guy who makes some really interesting projects. Iron Lung is a very, very simple video game, probably about 40 minutes to play. And it's about a world where all of the stars and all of the planets out of nowhere just vanish. So all that's left are space stations that were constructed and the people on them, and moons. And on some moons, these oceans of blood appeared. And they're massive. And that's it. That is all that's left in the universe. They call this the Quiet Rapture. And the premise of the video game is you are a person in a submersible that is being dropped into an ocean of blood. The blood is so dense and thick, and you are going so low that you actually can't look out any windows. The porthole has to get shut completely. You only have a map with coordinates, and then the control panel for the submersible that has a forward, backward, and a turning mechanism, as well as these numbers that represent the coordinates of where you are in the blood ocean. If you want to look outside, you have to walk to the back of the submersible and press a button. And then after about a second, a picture on the left will appear, and it shows you what the camera has just seen outside. I don't believe it's actually what is right in front of you. So there's a lot of things about the submersible and the experience that really require you to engage object permanence and just your mind. So it's a game that it's a puzzle exploration game. You have these point of interest that you have to find on the map. So you're now going to find their coordinates, take pictures, and you're collecting data. But something might be in the blood ocean. And that is the game. It's very good, hugely popular, just an excellent experience. If you're not a fan of video games, but you want to know what the medium is like and how it separates itself from music, books, film, this is one of those games to do that with, because all art engages you and your senses in a controlled manner. And this one is one that really gets in your head and how you have to think about what's going on. As someone who likes video games, I play a lot of shooters. The way it engages my brain is very different. Shooting is very reactionary and very borderline point and click. This, you really have to sit there and you have to like chart things out. It's great. So it's a great game, very great horror experience, very cool sci-fi world, very weird fiction. So that's pretty neat. Markiplier played it and pretty much said once he finished it, he was like, well, I got to contact the guy who made this because I want to ask him about making a movie based on it, but I don't want to be forward. So I got to figure out how to. So anyways, he gets into a relationship with him. And a couple years ago, it's announced there's going to be an Iron Lung film written and directed by Markiplier, who's, Mark Fishback. That's his official, real, God-given Christian name. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I'm just making a gag. But he is the one who screen wrote this film. It's obviously, the original source material, David Szymanski, but he adapts the game into this film. The first trailer comes out maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And yeah, I mean, to save spoilers, because the game, just like the game, it's about the reward is information. The reward is intrigue and information, because when you're taking those pictures, they're kind of fuzzy. So it's actually really hard to figure out what things are. But here in the movie, that's kind of the same thing, where every couple of minutes, new information has been shared with you. And so I think what I'll just say is the way the movie introduces this premise is our main character is a convict. We don't know his name. We just know he's convict. There is a speaker so that the people who dropped him into the blood ocean can talk to him, which I don't think is in the video game. I think in the video game, it's dead silent and you just have like your manual on how to pilot the thing in the computer. And they're just like, you need to investigate and find stuff down there that might be useful for rebuilding humanity or making humanity safe. Because just to be clear, in the video game, I think it's stated that there's like less than 5,000 humans currently alive. So it's this is super weird fiction. Like this is like end of the universe type fiction. It's pretty dope. So anything they can find is of importance. And when they did their preliminary scan of the blood ocean, there were things that were abnormal. So that's why you're there to do it. Enough of those details are shared at the start of the film so that you know that that's what the convict is doing. And then so begins the rest of the movie. That's enough yapping and specifics on me, or on the film from me. Cheryl, what do you think of Iron Lung?
I thought it was fantastic. I know nothing about the game.
Oh, you have not played the game?
I have not played the
game. Did Thomas play it?
No.
So y'all just went and saw it?
We just went and saw it.
That's cool.
I am familiar with Markiplier. I don't watch his content. I watch similar content, but not his content. So I'm very familiar with the type of content that Markiplier does, including horror game Let's Plays, essentially. So,
what interested you to go see it? The trailer?
Honestly, a little bit of the trailer, but then also because I'm like, oh wow, a YouTuber did this? This is cool. I want to go support.
Chris Stuckman is crying now. He's like, oh my gosh.
No, it really was. It was like I am passingly familiar with Markiplier. I think I remember Jacksepticeye in one of the videos I watched kind of mentioned that Markiplier was making something, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So then seeing the trailer, it was like, oh, this looks actually good. Like, it looks competent. Horror movies are outside of my comfort zone for the most part. So this definitely was like up my alley when it came to horror. Single room.
And you liked it.
And I loved it. It was fantastic. I really don't know it was so good.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I think this film shows off a lot of like really interesting things. So first off, I think it shows that like Markiplier definitely understood the game, and he like didn't just understand it in terms of gameplay, but also in terms of like context. Like, he got that like the world is really oppressive and unforgiving. This is like a universe that just like adversely and passively is hostile to anything that's alive. And like the movie really gets that across. It also recognizes that all the lasting humans are just like, this event was an extremely traumatic event, and it's almost like a thing that no one saw. They just know it happened, and that alone is terrifying. And so no one's really totally getting along. It's almost like out of spite. And I kind of liked how in him introducing other people, other characters, like there's this commander, there's this other person. Anyways, like all that seemed good. He also understood that like the world is really mysterious, and like that's the game, right? It's a kind of a mystery game. You're learning information, but like we don't know anything in the movie about why the quiet rapture happened. We don't know why these blood oceans are here. We can make inferences, but we don't know. We don't really know anything about this creature that might be in the ocean. We don't know what the POIs are, all those specifics that are like bizarre things that are in the ocean. And there's just a lot of aspects about the game even that just don't go mentioned because they don't need it. And then also cleverly he limits 99% of the movie to the iron lung itself. It's just this character convict in the submersible.
Yes. I love that about this movie, that it literally, like, we don't ever leave the inside of the submersible.
Yeah, the only times we ever cut out of it are very brief, sensible times. Like there's like a backstory shot of like what happened before. There's like a nightmare sequence because obviously there's like shots from outside the submersible that are very quick and mostly there just so we can like get a moment of context, but otherwise like it is very restrained when it happens. So like to me, I just thought like he really showed that he understood the game in and out. He understood how games are different than movies. And also, for a movie, how movies are very different than games. And the fact that, like, yeah, you're going to have some other characters or else you're going to go full art house. Or you have to add, like, the Iron Lung ship in the movie has, like, an extra compartment where he has to crawl into to complete some tasks. There's also individual character motivation. And, like, I just think, like, at the end of the day, though, he balances, like, the difficulty of explaining too much versus staying way too vague. I feel like explaining too much would be like an equivalent of like Freddy Krueger got his powers from the Dream People in Freddy's Dead, or staying too vague like this one found footage movie, The Tunnel, where it's really cool urban exploration underground film with a monster, but you actually just never see the creature, which is not rewarding. Like that was really frustrating to me. So he goes right in between to me. Like I feel like whenever the story shares information, your brain goes burr because you're learning things, but now you have 10 more questions because it's so strange. And like, that's the game. That's what the game feels like. So for me, like, I don't need a movie to be the game, but I do need the movie to carry over core tenets from the game. And here he is doing that. And then the movie's also good. So cool. I like that. That was awesome.
Talking about it being like video game to movie, I did like too that he didn't make it feel like you could watch this and know that it did not come from a video game. Like you would have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And I like that in this, he didn't make it feel like it was a video game. Like I could probably now go watch his playthrough and then rewatch the movie and kind of see very subtle nods to it being video game like. But I like that it wasn't that it's very accessible to anybody.
Well, and he even limits the quote unquote gameplay to like montages. Hey, don't forget, there's a lot of fun content missing from this episode because you're not listening on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/cinematic doctrine and support for $3 a month to gain access to uncut episodes with upwards of 40 minutes of bonus content each. You'll thank me later. What did the movie evoke in you? This is another non-spoiler question.
For me, it was, and like I said before, I really enjoy single room, single building, single house setting. I just find that can be very constricting, very restricting, and interesting because then like you only have so much you can do and play with. And that this movie, I mean, I don't even know the measurements of this thing, but he could probably lay down, and if he stretches really far, he can touch one end to the other. I felt claustrophobic. Like I felt like I was in it with him and suffocating, and then the points where like, and this is not a spoiler because if you were in this situation, this is how you would feel. His descent into just madness because he's by himself. He can't look outside except through pictures, which only last for a few moments. And then you're in a big bubble of blood. And so you're hearing not only the sounds of very thick liquid outside, but some sort of something out there. And like, that is conveyed throughout the entire movie so well. I actually wish I was sitting closer to the movie screen and like just like full on surround sound. Like it just,
yeah,
I don't know. I definitely felt the tension. I felt it wasn't quite panic attack inducing because I have had that in certain movies, especially when it comes to submersibles. This was done in a very good way. This whole movie in just being trapped inside this very, very small room was really good. The other note I had is I actually kind of brought it up with the other one. Like this weird horror it's my jam lately. I really like weird horror. Liminal spaces. This is anything but liminal spaces, so it's very opposite. But it scratched the right itch of what I've been liking lately.
Nice.
And it made me feel uncomfortable, but in good ways. If you can say that about a movie of a guy stuck in a submersible full of blood. Well, the submersible not full of blood, but everything around him is. But it was it was good. That it evokes a lot, like good things, and then like the scary, suffocating feeling. It's all good. It's such good vibes all around.
Yeah, for me, like the first thing that like I even had evoked before going in was Iron Lung is beaten in like 45 minutes. How is this movie going to be 2 hours and 7 minutes?
That's what Thomas and I were talking about. He's like, some people have been saying this because it's not a long game.
So I was just like, is this going to be bloated? Is it going to be too much? But like in reality, like I feel like a few scenes go on for maybe 10 to 30 seconds too long, which means if you cut that, you'd cut the 7 minutes and it would just be an even 2 hours. So like, but ultimately like it's not an endurance race and you're not miserable suffering through this movie that's long. No, like part of why I think it works so well is that the movie looks good. It's shot well. The music's good. It's performed well enough. I think Markiplier is inconsistent, but I think he's mostly showing good performances. I do think he yells too much, but I think his good performances are actually more in the subtle, restrained things, because that's really where, like, I think acting is mostly shown, where you kind of have to have self-control to prevent the exposure of what you actually feel. And anyway, so that there's like good stuff there. But I also just sort of thought, like, why is cosmic horror so difficult in like film? Like that was something that was on my mind. And here, like, I actually thought it was really good. And I was pondering, like, why is that? Because cosmic horror and weird fiction really ask us to think and ruminate. And so a lot of times I think books do this well is because as a medium, you're reading words that are then limited to only be processed in your brain. And cosmic horror and weird fiction has a lot to do with with what you think or can't think or trying to think. And so it's already in a book, it's already involved in that part of your head. You're not button pressing and there's no flashy colors on the screen. And since film gives us a lot more language for interpreting what's taking place through actual words, through visuals, through audio, it starts to dilute the ability for cosmic horror and weird fiction to work. Because I think that these things are about finding terror or discomfort beyond what you can think or comprehend. That inability to understand, despite suffering the consequences of things outside of your control, are what is scary. And Iron Lung is already doing this in the game. I mean, like, you can't see outside the submersible. You can't look outside immediately. You actually can only look out through a photo, which is through what has happened. And it's a second delay. So it's really like, it's not enough information in your control. When you do look outside, you have to step away from controls. So you're now limiting, like, oh, if it is something dangerous, I have to sprint to go to the controls and then drive away. Oh, and did we forget that the controls are based on coordinates? So you have to have a comprehension of your location, and then you're not going to run into a wall and die.
That, and also if the blood has a current, you're constantly moving. So as soon as you stop the submersible in this coordinate, run back, take a photo, you're already at a different coordinate.
There's just no, as mentioned, there's no trigger finger muscle memory. Like you really have to sit and think. You have to in the game. That is brain stuff. That is prime for cosmic horror and weird fiction. Because like as you are comprehending things, because everything about the game is about the little moments your brain goes burr because you did a thing by thinking it out and then solving it by getting there. Like that then combined with these very bizarre things, the movie then does. And I feel like in the script, it's so clear. Again, I haven't read the script, but like what do I mean by saying the script? What do I mean by saying good script or bad script? You can tell by the moments where people aren't talking if it's a good script or not, because there's these points where he very clearly understands that the movie has to make you think about these things. What the quiet rapture is. Why are people holding on to hope? What exists outside of the iron lung in this blood ocean? If all the stars and planets vanished and all that's left are moons and space stations, what else has changed in the universe? Has physics changed? Has chemistry changed? Has the conception and development of life changed? Can anything from the before times be trusted in the now times? There's all these things that are carried over to me from the cosmic horror of the game that are then put into the movie. And so that by the end of the movie, you've definitely learned more, but there's so much more you don't know. And so I think that's a very important thing about science and science fiction. Science, as you continue to study, you realize there is a wealth of things to learn. We have not reached the end. Praise God for that just brilliant reality of how we study and learn in science. But when you go to science fiction and especially weird horror, cosmic horror, you have to then find the fallibility of human interaction in a world made beyond us is scary. And to me, this all comes together in saying what I think is that Mark Fishback is a talented writer and director. I don't know if he's decent enough as an actor, not just because he's yelling, but like I think some scenes are, again, understated and well performed. But I think he's a good writer because he is able to translate this game into a movie really well, which is incredibly difficult to do, not just from game to movie, but cosmic horror to film. I mean, look at Minecraft. Why wasn't Minecraft melancholy or spooky in any way? That game is scary and it feels melancholy to play sometimes. It's because the music, because of the experience. It's a great game. But
I recently started playing Minecraft.
It's great. It is
really
so
fun.
good.
But yeah, you're like every moment I'm like, man, I just want to build my house. This stupid zombie, this stupid creeper, this stupid and then it just
And then of course you see the movie and it's just a comedy, silly kids adventure movie. Or Borderlands, which is just not good. The Borderlands movie just being bad.
Oh, I didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
That game, the first one's good. That second one is great. And then, of course, the FNAF movies are neither stressful nor trippy, which is stupid because they should be both. Oh, man. But I still think like the fact that he writes this is smart. I think that he does well to not repeat scenes. It doesn't feel like we're just recycling thing. Yeah. And then the script having things like we're going to focus on the moisture accumulation in the submersible, that it's hot, that you have to use this camera as like a momentary limited light source that I really liked. It's not self-indulgent, I don't think. So I think that's good.
I don't think so either. If he, I don't know, takes some acting classes or something to like just really finesse some of what he's got, I think he'd be a fine actor. Like I thought he was quite good. Like, yeah, I feel like he just needs like maybe a little bit of like practice and he'll be excellent. There is talent. he's got talent for sure.
Well,
for sure.
So then, like, I think he's a good director, not just writer, because like this whole project feels like he trusted those he hired and worked with.
Oh,
like
100%.
The cinematography is very visually pleasing. The set design and the effects all look good. The soundtrack is consistently good. And like I said, it's ironically not self-indulgent despite the fact that he cast himself.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because it's cost effective. It lets him use the money on other things by having the writer, director, and star be himself.
You may not know this, but the easiest way you can show your support for Cinematic Doctrine is to rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. So press pause and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And then press play again so you can hear the rest of the show.
That's what I got there. Let's do it. Let's get into spoilers.
Cool.
So we're gonna transition out of the non-spoilers into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen Iron Lung, honestly, once it becomes available, definitely check it out. It is pretty dang good. Yeah. There really isn't a lot of good cosmic horror. Most of it sucks in movies, but this one, pretty solid. First prompt: recurring motifs and prominent significant moments and or characters. Go ahead.
Everything's red.
Okay.
Obviously, because blood. But, like, even inside, like, I feel like everything just has, like, a red quality to it, which is nice. Did you notice the things growing inside on the ship during the movie?
I mean, I saw the, like, coagulation of the blood, and it looked like it was forming into things, but...
Yeah, like, I started, like, just kind of like, that's weird, and like just like throughout the movie, and then it obviously all connects at the end, like what it is and everything. So I was very proud of myself for being able to notice that as I watched. Like I picked up on something, like, yeah, this is cool. And like what I liked about that is that like it just kind of like the camera, like it wouldn't be like, let's focus on this part of the wall and then like zoom in on it to be like, do you see that? Like it just was like, here's a section of the wall. Yeah, something in the corner there. Okay, cool. And then moving on. Like, I like that they didn't make a point to really say. I like the recurring. I don't know if it would necessarily be a recurring motif or something. Where would this fall? Significant moments, I guess, of just like his descent into like the madness and loneliness. Like he's obviously like initially when we come in, like he's already been down in the water. I think does it open with him doing his first ever?
This is the first time he's in it, and he's told he's the first one.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell he's kind of like whatever about it, but then like over time he just becomes more and more like the realization hits him. Like you don't find out, but he's welded in until like later on in the film, like when he comes back up to the surface and they need to do something. He's like, we can't get him out because like he's welded in, and like that's horrifying. Like there's literally no way out for this guy. And you start to really feel that the way he acts it out, the perspiration, the condensation in the walls, the slow dripping and stuff like that. Like, I like that we got to kind of go on that journey and feel that with him. And then just the constant, like, he wants the freedom. Like, then I'll be free. And like, they're like, yeah, then we'll let you out. And then then I'll be free. Then we'll let you out. And then it turns it like, I just want to live. Like, forget freedom. I just want to live. Yeah. And then the transition to, I can't remember if he says it's bigger than me or it's bigger than all of us. But like, I liked that transformation of very self-centered of, I just want to be free. I want to get out of here. I don't care about anything else, to then realizing like, oh, I just want to live. Like, forget any, like, I just want to live, which kind of, whether you're free or not, at least you'll be alive. And then realizing like, oh, this actually could save humanity, what I'm able to do. And I like that all that is very subtle. Like the movie is very much a show don't tell in a way, except when obviously it's giving you information, but like not in this new thing that Netflix is doing because everyone's looking at their phone and like repeating back the storyline. Like it's not that type of tell. Like it's giving you information when it's supposed to happen within the world, while the character, like the main character, needs the information because they don't know the information.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was hope amidst unceasing despair, which I think is kind of going in with some of your stuff, where like the movie, it's silly, but it kind of does the whole indomitable human spirit thing where like in the face of great adversity, either against other men or creation, there's always this beauty and bravery and hope. And like the more despair, the more wealth and hope that is possible. Like, this is a blood ocean. Is there even water anywhere? They talk about this last tree that's been gone. Is there maybe another tree somewhere? Because trees are the most, uncommon resource in the entire universe. Human mistakes happen, so like you can't even necessarily always rely on your fellow man. Because he gives like 4 people radiation poisoning in like a second. There's this like overwhelming godlike evil that that mankind is like, I don't even know how you would beat it. And then there's no stars or planets. Like, could you even find a livable environment, or are you stuck with just the oxygen that's left on your ships? Because it doesn't seem like there's much else. Like, why would they want to give the person in the iron lung more oxygen? They only have so much.
Right.
It's a resource. They have to be careful. This will sound so strange, but bear with me, listener, as you always do whenever I cut into weird parallels. But people unduly mock Yoko Ono because she broke up the Beatles, or she makes bad art or whatever. But one of her philosophies on art, I think, kind of captures this innate love for hope that we have. If I remember this correctly, and I think I do, she says one of her art like goals is that she's trying to capture this experience she had with her brother or sibling or family member or something after World War II. And it was during a time of extreme poverty. And the two of them were laying under the stars and they were extremely hungry. This is as they're like kids. I think she's like a teen. And so then they just start talking about the foods they would like to eat, that they want to eat. Like, they're looking forward to eat them. But, they're poor and hungry, and so they don't have it. And she realizes after this conversation, they actually felt better. They were still hungry, but they were happier. And so despite all circumstances, humanity is capable of finding joy and hope at all times. With centuries and millennia under our belt, there's no human that's ever existed that isn't capable of at some point reaching a point of like improved happiness or joy during their life. And I genuinely believe that. I think this includes those who have suffered even the most heinous of injustices. Having been an inpatient, I've been peers with people who have experienced extreme heinous injustice, and yet they then finished their program feeling unbelievably better. And so it is possible, as you are still alive, to do this. And so I kind of see like hope as like this desire for pursuing a better tomorrow despite today, or this desire for future joy that satisfies enough about the now that you can keep moving forward. And the movie kind of shows an interesting way in which that is taking place amidst the most terrible of circumstances, because I don't know what you put your hope in when like, goodness. Yeah, like these are the last days of mankind, and not on a planet, or like not in like this is literally like the last days of all existence, it seems like, except for whatever this creature might be. And so I think it's neat to then kind of have it transition into this story where if we can just collect this information and somehow transfer it, like, it might be useful. And so I find that kind of neat. What do you think?
I agree. I think that's one of the things that I'm finding very fascinating about the horror genre is when done well and done right, it's not about the scares. It's not about the gore. It's not about the traumatizing. It's about the hope that the characters have and the desire and will to live. Mm-hmm. We all are familiar with The Final Girl.
Overcoming adversity.
Yeah, and I think that's really beautiful. And I don't know if it's very common that characters in a horror movie always start out like, whatever, I don't really care. Like, I just want to get out of this. And this, like, I think we find out his name is Simon. It's just like, I just want to pay my due. It wasn't my fault that what happened. I shouldn't even be here. Just let's get it done and over with. And then it does become much bigger than him, which he's being told over and over again. Like, this is bigger than you. Like, you could help humanity, do your part. And he's just like, I don't want to. Fine, I'll do what I need to do kind of thing. And then it turns into, once he starts finding things and realizing he isn't the first one down here, and then the other people found something, and then like realizing that, oh, I actually can make a huge difference here to help humanity, is just like a nice switch. But it really is quite beautiful to see that surge of hope that comes through despite the darkness and trauma that just surrounds you. And what a great reminder. like in here, like he's being constantly told this is going to help humanity, this is going to, and he's whatever. You almost have to experience the moments for yourself to be like, oh, gotcha, yes, this will have like this like will help humanity. Like you could be told over and over again that this is really bad for you, but you're not going to know that it's bad for you until you like experience something and kind of learn it for yourself. Some people might be able to take the advice and be like, yeah, you know what, you're right, but others have to kind of hit rock bottom and then kind of turn. And so I feel like this movie does that really well.
Yeah, there's this transition where he finally hits clarity and it becomes something he can actually do to make change, possible positive change. Because like part of what's also like frightening about this universe is the question of what's the point? Like, really scanning stuff in the blood ocean is going to be good for humanity? It's like, yeah, I mean, doing something. You got to do something if you're still alive. Otherwise, to be or not to be, like that's the question. And so, like he doesn't quite have any reason yet, other than I just want to be free at the start. But it's like, free for what? To exist in this universe that sucks?
Right.
And so by the end, he does reach this point of like, oh, there's something actionable that can be taken place that may be of use for people outside myself. And yeah, it's an interesting journey for this character who has no freedom and then gains their freedom because they make this choice for others in a way that's like interesting. But I digress. I think that's all very, very interesting.
Enjoying this episode? Grab that share link and tell your friends. Word of mouth is the most effective way for a podcast to reach new listeners, so don't be shy. Share the episode wherever you can.
So let's get into the ending, because we're already kind of talking about it a bit. But so through a series of unfortunate events, Simon has witnessed a ghost in his iron lung, which seems to be possibly who knows, really, like who knows what the logic or the effects or the paranormal of this world is. But basically, this creature in the blood ocean has been antagonizing him mentally and seems to have made it so that he had been down in the blood ocean for an extremely long time, but still alive. There's just this very long nightmare sequence that some of the information that he learns is true and some of the information that he learns is not. And he finally comes back. He's talking to the ship, to the captain, and shares that, like, you can come save me because I found this other ship, and if I can get close enough, I can collect the data and we can come back and that might be useful. And yeah, she's like, oh, that is a huge deal. We need to do that. Like, and if you can get it done in 30 minutes, then I can save you for sure. He then is able to get there. He's got the clearance. He's able to collect the data that he needs from the ship, from the black box. But this is, I'll admit, I'm a little confused on the specifics of the ending. Somehow, the ship that he's communicating with seemed to have also ended up in the blood ocean. And the creature is able to kill them, like eat their ship, and they die. But but Simon in the Iron Lung is still able to have the information that he needs downloaded to the computer, which is then put into the black box, which he then is able to remove from the Iron Lung, put a life preserver on it, and he then causes the submersible to implode in the mouth of the creature, killing the creature and thankfully shooting the black box out of the submersible. Yeah. And so the end of the film is Simon is dead. Everyone we have known in the movie is dead. Yeah. But the black box is now floating on this river, ocean of blood, and we hear a ship or a copter, just some sort of VTOL thing, and a light appears over it, presumably collecting the black box. Credits roll. I recognize, before hearing what you think, that by saying I'm a little confused on the specifics in the ending, that puts into question me saying this movie's great. I think that the specifics are less important than the experience and the cosmic horror of it all. Yeah. But that's basically the ending, is like this wrap up of all these crazy events, and finally Simon doing this one act that seems to have been good. What do you think of the ending?
I thought it was really good. I will, a point that could be a thing, like, it's entirely possible that there are like 3 different vehicles of a sort. Like you have the iron lung and then the boat it's attached to, and then it's possible there's like the space station could be up there and like obviously have more ships or whatever, and then that's kind of what the light is at the end getting the black box. Like maybe everyone's in communication like along the line, so like the initial ship that he's talking to that's like, yes, no, go get that box, like we need that, probably is gone. Like those people are probably dead because they got eaten by the creature, but then they were maybe in contact with a space station or something. At least that's how I'll accept it, until like if we get a sequel and then it's how it explains it, great. Otherwise, I feel like it's totally okay having that kind of like, I don't know, video game logic maybe, because that's definitely a thing. It's just accepted as video game logic. Because I feel like everything else about the movie outweighs that one question. It's like, meh. Like, because like if this was a really bad movie, this would just be another question on top of all the other questions, and it would just be like, what the heck? Come on. If this is the like one negative thing you can pull out and it doesn't affect the entire experience, we can hand wave it. It's fine. I had no idea about a monster. I don't think I remember in any of my again, I went into it as blind as I could, mostly because either purposefully or like I didn't sit there and be like, tell me about Iron Lung before I go see it. So like I didn't know about a creature, I think, but it was very Lovecraftian, which is what I wanted to say earlier, of like this type of horror definitely has an eldritch horror Lovecraftian feel to it, with the big blood sea monster and then the voices that it uses to talk to Simon and like get him in.
And the limitations, the human limitation of like, with the camera is radiation, so it only shows like solids and non-bioorganic like stuff, so it can go through the blood, but then it also is going through all the muscle too. So when he sees this creature, it's like skeletal mass.
It's just the bones. Like we don't know. One thing I do love, like to add to this horror of the unknown, is like the only time you ever do see the creature is as the bones through the X-ray photo. But then the only other time you can maybe comprehensively understand or comprehend, I don't know what's proper grammar there, the size of this monster is the little compass that he's using to navigate has at each cardinal point a light that will flicker when he's about to like bump into something. And so as he's going around, he doesn't know if it's a wall or not unless he goes back and takes a photo. So who knows what's in front of him. But when the creature is around, I think there's a part where like 3 of them all at once blink. And so something is fully surrounding him. And it's not stationary, because it kind of starts out as 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then freaks out a little bit and then like slowly circles away kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a very clever way to really show the creature.
And then otherwise we only see it in the photos, a nightmare sequence in a very cool way, and then the ending for the briefest of moments. That's it.
Like the teeth coming up through the ship, which I didn't realize that's what that was when he was like hitting it. I was like, what is he hitting? Did something grow out of it? But everything was happening kind of fast at that point. So I wasn't really sure what to focus on. And then I realized it was teeth, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a giant angler fish. Which is kind of horrifying.
That's how people are comparing it. Some sort of godlike anglerfish, yeah.
I don't know. This movie was great. Like, I really, this is the type of movie where I feel like I can definitely say things that I really liked about it. But then I just get so excited about it that, like, honestly, I have nothing more to say other than that this movie was so good. Visually, it was stunning. I thought the setting was really good. The set design, the camera, I have hardly a bad thing to say about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ending. I think all of it comes together just fine. I think the additions to the lore that's separated from the game are also good. Like, I don't think in the game the light is anything other than just an anomaly that you would kind of observe. And in here, they tie it to possibly not even the creature, but just whatever this blood ocean is, because the blood ocean seems to be alive in some capacity.
Wasn't there a quick line too of someone saying they tested the blood and they found out it was human?
Yeah, that's one of the things in the game too, that it's human blood.
That was like, oh, I need more information on that one.
It's so it's so interesting. All the details, all of the like pseudo paranormal stuff, all of the visions, all of that stuff. I totally was like on board for and into the ending of the film. And I think the creature itself is really cool. Yeah, just dope. So now I'm just curious, like what's next for Markiplier? I mean, obviously he's still posting Let's Talks and let's plays and stuff like that, but like, you know, this movie was 3 million and it grossed 17.8 million in the US, Canada, and worldwide it was 20.8 million. And that wasn't even all of the planet. I mean, I think he only got Australia and one other country.
I think he said New Zealand.
Yeah, and had difficulty with getting it in Europe, but it's possible it'll get some screening there. I mean, this is a crazy success. That's almost 7 times the budget back alone.
Which is crazy.
So yeah, I mean, we're recording before weekend 2. Like if it ends up getting a second, I think it only screened last weekend. It's February 5th right now. But it's possible that like some people are contacting him like, hey, we want your movie to screen like this weekend. We think we'll make money. So like it's possible.
Movie theaters better be looking at this and being like, yo, we can make some money on this.
Maybe. If it's their market, definitely. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But because it also could get word of mouth. Like it's totally possible. I mean, our episode won't go up till next week, so it'll be after week 2, but we'll see. Are we going to get more movies based on David Zemansky projects? Because now people are going to go, is this like it's like finding an ore vein. Like, they're going, we know there's a vein here. What kind of material is it? Is it Markiplier that got this movie to take off? Is it David Zemansky's world that took off? What's going to happen next? And I think it's mostly Markiplier, but also the premise is really neat. Like, I think it's pretty dope. But yeah, Squirrel Stapler movie, that could be neat if it's even possible to translate.
I have to look this up because I love squirrels, but also like what I'm picturing in my head is literally a squirrel running around with a stapler, kind of like the new game Squirrel with a Gun or whatever, which looks really fun to play. I haven't played it yet, but that's what I'm imagining. Don't tell me, I'll look it up afterwards, but like that's what I'm imagining, and like I would absolutely go see that movie.
Is Markiplier going to be doing FNAF 3? Could he save Five Nights at Freddy's? What's next? Like, or is he going to start producing because he just made a profit and now he's like, look, if I could spend 3 million to make one movie that makes 20 million, what if I make 7 $3 million movies and they all make, like, what's he gonna do next? Like, if he did that, would it be curating low budget flicks? There's just so much that he can do. Like, this is the positive of diversification. This is not financial advice. Nope. But it is good to diversify. If you've already got your cash cow, look for another cash cow and be smart in that investment. Because here he is. He's got his cash cow, his Let's Plays. He is set. But now he's like, hey, I have time to try this passion out that I want to do. I'm really interested in this project. And then he directs it well. He writes it well. And it's profited. So now he can try new things. And that's very exciting.
Hey there, listener. Want to influence the podcast? Head on over to patreon.com/cinematic doctrine and support the show for $3 a month. In doing so, you'll be able to vote on a movie poll that picks a film we discuss each month. So jump on over there and have your voice heard.
So yeah, let's close it out. Let's do recommendations. What do you got?
Okay, I am going to recommend Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Woodring Stover. And now, before anyone comes for me, yes, the prequels, kind of icky. Better than the sequels, but still kind of eh. At least they have a storyline and a plot. And Revenge of the Sith ain't that great a movie. But the book, my husband, we have this thing where we like to watch IPs and do a marathon, essentially, like one every night for like a week or whatever. So it's been a while, or we've just never done Star Wars. So of course we started with the prequels, 1 and 2. And then he's like, okay, before we go into 3, I need you to read this book. And he hands me the book version of Revenge of the Sith. I'm like, oh, is this a novelization of the movie? I was like, I'm not like a huge fan of books like that because it's just like, what's the point? And he's like, no, you got to read it. I'm like, all right. This book was so good. So Stover was given the script for Revenge of the Sith, and he wrote the book based on the script. And it appalls me that then we got the movie that we did, because his book, just like the inner monologues of all the characters were really good. We get some background scenes between like General Grievous and then Palpatine at the beginning. We get to see a little bit more of like the inner conflict of Anakin, and like he actually has emotion. He doesn't really have that in the movie until the end. Obi-Wan and his relationship with the Force is really, really good. Padme is still a little whiny, but the book is just so good. So if you watch the first and second movie, which, whatever, skip the third movie, just read the book and then move on to the rest of the movies. There's so much like meat and emotion to the book. It was a wonderful read. And it was so fun it was fun to end up watching Revenge of the Sith and then turning to my husband and being like, this was so much better in the book. Why didn't they just do the book? Like, why? Like, he took the script and then wrote the book, and then we got this movie? Like, what the heck? Like, he showed me some deleted scenes from the movie that were in the book, and I'm like, they should have left that. And like, why didn't they leave that? That explains so much. Like, it helps bring things just read the book. Like, watch the first movie, read the book, and then watch the rest of the movies. You'll have a much better time.
Yeah, and then I'm going to recommend an app, a streaming app. Oh no, another streaming app.
No.
I'm going to recommend Found TV. If you're a found footage person like me, then you are going to like this. This is a free streaming app for, free with ads or pay to get no ads. Free streaming app for found footage horror or in-world horror stuff. I'll keep it brief. Notable mentions: Savage Land, super great film. Taking a Deborah Logan. Classic found footage, not classic as in like old, but like classic trope found footage, very, very good. Frogman, independent, so good, tons of fun. And then Gonjam, Haunted Asylum, one of the single scariest movies I've ever seen. I think I've recommended all of these actually on the podcast before, and they're all available on Found TV. Check it out. There's an app. It's on your phone. You can stream it from, and then you can cast it to your TV if you want. I think on Apple TVs, it's also just available. So, but it's a very, very independent app made by this couple who just loves found footage movies. So they decided we're just going to make an app for it. And yeah, all these are great ones you can dive into right now. They're so good. Check them out. Found TV.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Cinematic Doctrine. If you enjoyed the episode, give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're using. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, too. We put out stuff like all the time. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. It helps the algorithm share our stuff around, and I see them, so I usually reply. Also, if you support on Patreon, you could have totally heard this episode early. There's a bunch of other benefits to supporting on Patreon, so head on over to patreon.com/cinematic doctrine to learn more. Speaking of Patreon, thank you so much to our Art House Theater tier Patreon supporters. Thanks, Thomas, Shirleon, Mom, and Dad. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, stay cool.